Hello and welcome. My name is Craig Berger and I'm the Assistant Director in Community Engaged Learning at Kent State. I hope the first part of your Common Conversations experience helped you clarify what you hope to accomplish this semester and helped you set yourself up for a successful Kent State career. We've designed the next block of time to build on your previous conversation and to make it easier for you to pursue the commitments you've established. We've asked some great people associated with different community and advocacy-focused opportunities today to join us so that you can hear directly from them about their transformative experiences with the hope that it may spark ideas about how you can follow through with your action steps. Service and philanthropy is a part of Kent State's culture. In fact, the university was founded in 1910 after William Kent donated 53 acres of his farmland, the land that would become the university you're now attending. It's our intention that you not only receive a world-class education during your time as a Golden Flash, but that you develop a passion for serving the needs of your community, as someone like William Kent did, and graduate with a commitment to positive change. So how does that work here at Kent State? Well, first, a little bit about our office. Community Engaged Learning at Kent State helps students advance social change by connecting you, your academic or personal interests and talents with local, regional, and even international opportunities, while also helping you develop a variety of skills employers are looking for. It's also definitely not one size fits all. As you'll hear in the conversation, different community members have different experiences with engagement, and that's why our office offers different opportunities for engagement. We offer short-term experiences like our monthly days of service, during which students travel to different sites around Kent for a few hours to work on a variety of service projects with nonprofit agencies. And then we also offer longer immersive experiences like our alternative break trips, which provide travel experiences that are organized around one particular social issue or community challenge. For example, students have learned about human trafficking at the state capitol in Columbus. They've rebuilt homes after natural disasters in Houston and New Orleans. They've celebrated the LGBTQ community and supported the 50th anniversary of World Pride in New York City. And they've also supported clean water initiatives in the Dominican Republic. And that's just to name a few. Locally, we support hunger fighting initiatives through our campus kitchen program. We recover food that otherwise would go to waste and then hold a biweekly food pantry on campus for students, faculty, staff, and community partners. All are welcome, as well as make nutritious hot meals for local social service agencies. Finally, Community Engaged Learning also has leadership roles through our office. The experiences I just described are led by dedicated and passionate students who lead service and reflection and work directly with community organizations on original projects that they co-create together. While things may look a little different this year due to the pandemic, we are committed to connecting you with our amazing community partners so that you can start or continue your journey of impact here at Kent State. So how do you get involved? Well, the best way to stay in touch with our office and learn about opportunities is definitely through social media, including our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where our username is Kent State CEL for all of them. We also have a bi-weekly newsletter you can subscribe to at our website, which is at kent.edu/community. At this time, we're excited to introduce you to some of our partners who will share information with you about exciting opportunities they've either experienced themselves as students, have connected with courses they teach as faculty members, or facilitate these opportunities as partners to Kent State working in the community. Can I each have our guests say your name, what your role is, and what work or activities at Kent State you've either been a part of or are currently connected to? And we'll start with Cassidy.
Hi everyone, my name is Cassidy Ridley. I am currently a student at Kent State University going into my senior year as a neuroscience major. And I am involved with the Office of Community Engaged Learning as a community partner advocate, which allows me to volunteer very closely with United Way of Portage County, where it's an organization that ensures every student has the materials and guidance needed for succeeding in academics. And so I've helped them better projects that were already in place, such as literacy kits, which are these interactive reading books for preschool and kindergarten age students, as well as having the ability to voice my own ideas, and am currently working on a summer program with them, which I'm super excited for. But aside from being community partner advocate, Kent State has offered me so many other opportunities. I'm involved in research labs. I'm on club gymnastics team. I've joined a service fraternity, Alpha Phi Omega, and I've just found a bunch of new hobbies here at Kent State.
Great, thanks for sharing, Cassidy. And Lee, can we ask you to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, my name is Lee Garcia. I'm an assistant professor of print media and photography in the School of Art. And I've only been at Kent State for about a year, but this past January, I organized an event called Resiliencia with SALSA, which is the Spanish and Latino Student Association at Kent State. And we did a symposium about undocumented immigration with the help of Daniel Chand, who's a political science professor, Claudia Vanessa Garcia, who's in the Multicultural Center. And then we ended the symposium with a paper making event that I do where we essentially beat horrible comments we find about undocumented immigrants on YouTube. We beat them into a mate paper, which is a traditional Mexican paper making technique with rocks. So we beat these horrible comments together as a community.
That sounds really cool. Thank you. Lee, if we can stay with you and just maybe talk about where your path to advocacy and community engagement began for you.
Yeah, sure. So I'm biracial. I'm half white and I'm half Mexican American. So I've always been hyper aware of race, really interested in racial relations. And another part about my sort of ancestral history that's always stayed with me is that my grandfather crossed the Rio Grande in the 1930s, undocumented or illegally. So undocumented immigration has always been a big part of my history. And in about 2016, when undocumented immigration became the center of politics in our country, I felt like it was time to change my art practice a little bit to focus on undocumented immigration. So I started that work doing a couple of community engaged projects. I reached out to some men who were facing deportation in a detention center in Lumpkin, Georgia. I did a drawing exchange with them. I've done other projects with my collaborative art partner, Maria Amalia Wood, where we interviewed undocumented women in the Madison, Wisconsin community and made work about them. So that's really what got me started.
Thank you for sharing. And Cassidy, can you talk about how you got connected to the campus and the university in your first year? Because I imagine we have a lot of first year students listening and wondering how they're going to get connected as well.
Of course. So I tested the waters on a lot of different things and reached out to a bunch of different organizations. And so my first week at Kent State, I went on a trip with the Adventure Center, which is where I met a lot of my friends. And from there, we kind of branched out and tried different things. So we did a service project together where we painted the big red bookshelves on the first monthly day of service. And I joined the club gymnastics team because that was something I knew and was familiar with, and kind of gave me something stable outside of everything else that I was trying out. And so I kind of just tested the waters on a bunch of different things and found what I liked in the people that I rolled with.
Great. Then can you also talk about what skills that, with the United Way and specifically the literacy kits and maybe in general as well, what skills would you imagine that students would be able to develop that would be transferable to their future career?
So especially with the literacy kits, there is a lot of long-term planning and organization that goes into those, which is always a great skill to have instead of having a bunch of short-term goals. You kind of learn how to do that long-term planning, as well as if there's an educational aspect. You are still working and communicating with a bunch of different volunteers and a bunch of different organizations on campus to get people to kind of help you create 750 literacy kits in one semester.
Great, thank you. And Lee, I'm wondering, can you talk about how you've seen students' experiences in the community affect positively their academic performance?
Yeah, I think that when students work with the community, they really start to develop a sense of belonging for themselves. And we know that a sense of belonging is really important for the college experience. It can result in higher grades. When students feel a stronger sense of belonging, they attend class more often. They just have, better all around mental health and happiness. So I think that sense of belonging is a key part. And then specifically for art, I can speak to when you make community-based work, you start to understand the power that art has and how art can really create community and foster relationships and really meaningful conversations. So just understanding that power that comes with art, I think can be really motivating.
Great. And Cassidy, going back to you, what would you say the most rewarding part about your work is?
For me, definitely the most rewarding part of being a community partner advocate is that I can see my organization build up and grow and continue to improve, and I'm a part of that. So last year, I started the summer reading program, and since all of their current projects are during the school year, it was something new and an idea that they kind of adopted and let me completely develop and build and create, and hopefully will last longer than my time there. So I'm just excited that I get the chance to work with this community and make something long lasting.
And then how would you say a new student who may be watching right now, how would they take the initiative to get involved with this project?
There are tons of ways to still be involved, and one of the easiest ways is to find something that you're passionate about and going to their website, looking them up. They often offer a lot of different volunteer opportunities on different days, so they're still doing literacy kits, like you mentioned before, where they still have to make around 700 a semester so that they can hand it out to all the students. And so materials will still be provided to you, and you can still build them and create them and send them back so that you're still a part of that. They're still doing, big red bookshelves and reading role models virtually. So there's still tons of ways to get involved.
Great. And then Lee, with you, how would students who maybe are hearing this for the first time as College of the Arts students, how would they get involved in your work? I would imagine one answer is taking a class of yours. How could they connect with you?
Yeah, I am teaching a class this fall called Public Prints. So my students are going to be using printmaking to work in the public realm, but that class is full. But I don't have any immediate projects coming up, mostly because the pandemic, things are on hold. But I will say that we have some amazing clubs at Kent State. Within the School of Art, we have the United Print Alliance, which is our printmaking club. They're always organizing really awesome community engaged projects, like we did Creativity Fest last year. And then I also just became the advisor for SALSA, which is the Spanish and Latino Student Association at Kent State University, another amazing organization that's doing some really great community work. So I would say just get tapped into a club, and you're really easily going to find some community engaged events.
Great, thank you. Well, in the interest of time, we unfortunately need to leave it there, but I do want to thank our partners for taking the time to share their experiences with us. Is there any last advice that either of you would have to offer to incoming students?
I think, like I said, just get tapped into a club. I really think finding an organization that's pre-existing is the best way to get tapped into the community here and really create that sense of belonging.
My last piece of advice to you guys is that confidence is key. Go for that internship, try out the new club, explores new foods and friends, and just enjoy it.
Thank you for that, and thank you to both of you for participating today. We're near the end of our time with you. However, as you prepare to complete one more Common Conversations activity, we want to point something out about service, and that is that it can be quite complex. Quite often, we think of service as an act that involves us and other people who we can see or communicate with, or someone we know or someone we can get to know. And a big part of a big part of service does operate based on that framework. Tutoring is a good example of this direct service. But I hope that you were able to hear in the conversation we just had that there are also some examples of service that are indirect, meaning you don't necessarily need to see who benefits. Wearing a mask is an obvious example these days, or so is helping to paint a playroom in a local after-school facility. Service can also be self-focused. So acts of self-care like seeing a therapist, exercising regularly, getting enough sleep, those all are ways that we can serve ourselves. And when positively changing our communities, serving ourselves is as important as serving others. When we apply these observations to our 3 prompts for the day, which were resilience, advocacy, and social change, and finding you, we can see that in focusing on all of these, we serve others and ourselves in direct and in indirect ways. You may have already heard the phrase flashes take care of flashes. We've adopted that phrase as a university community, not because it's a convenient slogan, but because service to others and to ourselves is a community value. It's part of our institutional identity at Kent State, and we hope our conversation today has helped you to identify how you can enact that value in your own Kent State experience, starting with this semester. So thank you, welcome to Kent State, and go Flashes.